So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Rich Clark, Guide to the Right Path, and I am a hypnotherapist, therapist, life coach, and so forth. So, this grotesque picture you can see is old people then going into that and rebuild and so forth. So, I'm going to talk about a subject called past life regression. So, what is past life regression? Well, past life regression, the idea of that is the idea of we are reincarnated, and because of our reincarnations, we have had different lives which are different to ours now. So, how does that work? Why does this exist? Do people believe in it? Well, the idea of is uncovering the past, introduction to past life regression, how that works, and how past life regression can heal the present. So, past life regression coaching and the benefits of past life regression are quite varied. A lot of science doesn't believe it. People say it's never been backed. It's never been backed by science. But there are different people like Helen Wambach talks about past life regression. Brian Weiss talks about many lives. It's known in the spiritual community. So have I had past life regression done? Yes, I have found out in my reincarnation who I was in different lifetimes. Was I different races? Was I different sexualities? Yes. Was I different? Was I a woman? Was I a man? Was I old? Was I young? Was I all these things? Yes, yes to all these answers. It's multifaceted. And the idea of past life regression is that what it is to find out what then past lessons you've learned from and why some things you still need to learn in the present so that you can achieve. And if you want to achieve, the idea is you're supposed to achieve moksha. The idea of this is reincarnation in the idea of sanat dharma. If you don't know what that is, if you in the Western term is Hinduism, but that is actually the ancient name of it. The idea is we go through reincarnation, which is samsara. And the idea of moksha is to be released from reincarnation. So we don't keep repeating our reincarnation. So past life regression is about understanding of why did we go through these past lives to actually get to who we are now. What lessons have we learned from them past lives to become who we are? This gets very complicated. And in fact, I don't even on my website even say I do it as a session, but I do. I've done actually, what's interesting is though I was a holistic therapist, is I started originally with Reiki, I started with tarot reading, I started with reflexology and so forth. And actually, what I started working with clients was working on past life regression. I had it done, got taught by someone who was a really, really great expert. Fortunately, they've passed now. And I worked with a lot of people with past life regression. It got through them a lot of things. It helped them out. And this was actually before I started training hypnotherapy. Now, technically, people say, oh, you should need to be a trained hypnotherapist. But that's not how it worked for me. I kind of did the weird way around. And past life regression helps people. When I did my past life regression, I would go back to my past lives and understand things and try and get messages, write them down. I really did a lot of work on myself to understand who I was, why certain things triggered me, why did I not like certain foods? What was that to link with, and so forth. And then also, why do you feel this deja vu when you meet someone? It's like we've met before. You get that, we've met before. Something's clicking. Why is it we're so familiar? What is that? This is all part of past life regression. It's all a part of the understanding of that. And so past life regression really what it does, it hones us in a spiritual way of understanding who we are, what our path is, what we want to make sure we have dharma this time and the karma off from our past lives, and then hopefully to get to moksha so we do not reincarnate. Now, some of us may reincarnate. I know this is my last incantation of human form. I will go to the spirit world and I'll never come back. I'm not going to be reincarnated. I know this. I learned this many years ago. I actually was told as a kid, actually, really spiritually. I don't know why I understood that. Couldn't talk to people about it. I mean, it just was really hard to explain. But the one thing is to understand why we are who we are. And so this connection with past life regression is about the understanding of who we want to be, why we've learned from these pasts, and what that is. Now, what's the issue with past life regression? Well, many people will claim they have been famous icons in the past. Also, if you see that, I pinched myself the other day by clipping it into the door. It's not actually a mole or anything. So, yeah, because that's usually a thing you look for past life regression is marks. People say, so I've got like a mark here on my, it's actually a mole. And it actually means someone who, it's actually in Indian culture, it actually means someone who is going to become a spiritual guru or leader. It's quite interesting. Not yet, not there yet, though, obviously. You need the bigger beard and speak a bit more like this. But however, we have to understand that there are a lot of people who believe they were in the past someone special. Most people weren't. That's a big spiritual fact. Most people weren't. Most people were farmers, tried to survive, tried to get through war, were soldiers on ships, poor, were servants of kings. So if someone says, oh, well, you used to be Cleopatra, the likeness was you were a servant of Cleopatra. If you thought you were this or you thought you were that, it's usually likely you were imitating someone. There's a lot of misconceptions about past life regression, and that's probably why the validity is a bit difficult, because unless you can prove it with unknown uncertainty who someone was. And in the spiritual community, it's very much, the idea is clever, it's very much believed upon, but there's a lot of chances. There's a lot of charlatans out there with stuff so claiming they were, people claiming that they were this ancient guru or whatever it is. Again, it's nonsense. But the idea, if anything, is to understand that once you do past life regression, you do a session, or akashic records, they're called as well, again, different names, same thing. But the one thing is that once you do past life regression, you can understand the world better. You have more gratitude and you have a more deeper understanding of why people act as they do. Because then you kind of look at it and go, well, actually, the reason then people do this or do that, and I'm actually fourth, fifth reincarnation of that, I understand that cultural understanding. So the thing is, if you have been reincarnated and you were a slave, you'd understand how wrong slavery was. If you've been a king and you saw how you treated your citadel, or whatever, you treated them poorly, you would then understand the height of having that power, but also needing to be the powerful person with responsibility. If you were the person who was poor, you then understand about what being poor is and how that when you get a chance, you should give and you should do charity. See, it's all about lessons, and then lessons are so important. So in this life, there's certain things. So this work, this carnation, I'm supposed to be more patient. I'm struggling a lot with that sometimes, but I try. But a lot of that was because I was impatient in previous lives. So the idea of understanding who we are, what we do, what our purpose is actually very interlinked to past life regression. And the idea of reincarnation, of like, when people say, why do I gravitate towards this type of modality? And, I'm talking about connection to ancestors before, but like, for example, I never understood why, as soon as I was doing my therapy work and training, I navigated towards Indian culture. I understand about the healing of that. It's like I knew it deep down, but I didn't know anyone in my family or anybody around me who was like that. And it's only then as I've got older, I've learned. I lived in India for a year, found out a few things, got DNA tested, found out that I've got lineage of that. And then the past life regression, I've actually even got lineage of that as well. And so I understand about the idea of poverty and the idea of struggle and spirituality, and understanding how that works and where the understanding of the caste system is. So though my skin color is white, I actually understand from past I've been different castes. I've been different dark skinned, lighter skinned, Brahmins. I've also been different cultures, speaking different languages, different cultures, like culture, being Japanese in one, being German in another, being South American in another, being, from Ethiopia and Kenyan in another. There's loads of things, and you kind of understand more about the unity and the idea, the utopian idea of what you want the world to be, because you understand what energy is. So past life regression is not just about knowing who you are, what it was, why you became that. It's also the idea is you get the idea of what makes that unique. So one of the things past life regression, a lot of people when they get a past life is, oh, why is it like I'm back here and it stinks? And I'm like, because you're going back into your memory, and your memory is like you're there. And it goes into that. And then, you ask questions. Again, I'm very good on this because I work online. I also work in person as well when I needed to. But you always can enhance that. And one of the things about past life regression is actually the way I work. I can actually see what the person sees in their head. So I can see whether they're telling the truth. I also, if they're getting a bit lost, I can go in there and guide them, give them something which they recognize as that carnation to help them get to something to get more answers. Some people get stuck. Some things can be very overwhelming for people, especially if they go into battles. You imagine, like, if you've never been to battle. I don't mean I've never been to a war. Can you imagine, like, going to a war and next minute you've got, like, shells and chaos around you? How do you get around that? How do you clear your head to get through that? So with past life regression, one of my things as the guide to the right path is the idea is actually I'm very good. I've done this work for many years. I'd probably say about 10 years worth of past life regression work for people. So I would pretty experienced in it. I mean, Helen Wambach, I think, is one of my favorite authors because she's not the most known. Nobody really interviewed her very much. There was no videos on her, but she's great. Brian Weiss is probably the more last one in 20 years. There's some more people talking about past life stuff, but some of them are okay, some of them a bit fanciful. And then others who then claim they speak to this and speak to that and speak to these people, ancestry wise, or actually speak to, some people say they claim to speak to Jesus and Essenes and scenes and, Nostradamus. Again, not 100% clear. I don't fully resonate with that from what I understand, because also when I'm working with hypnotherapists, I also can get guides, which can also be people who are known for certain voices, certain ways of they working, for certain ways of how they understand things. That can be an influence to you. So the past life regression is also very important because of that training I had through working with clients to enhance that, is that I can then use them skills to help you in the present and the future, because them skill sets, even if they don't attribute to what technology is or whatever now, they still have some fundamentals which can help you. So if you are interested in past life regression, again, do a free discovery call, go to my website, www.richclarkguidetotherightpath, and then to book that, because it's not a booking thing on my website at the moment, is actually go to info@richclark.net, and we would actually book it privately. I may put it on the website soon. I'm not too sure yet. But also, if you're very much interested, you want to ask questions about it, please go on social media when I'm talking about these subjects or talking about these topics. Go to TikTok, go to Instagram, go to LinkedIn, go to X, go to Facebook. Ask me questions. I'm more than willing to talk about this work. As you can see, I'm not quite confident about who I am, very assured of what I know I'm doing. And again, if you want my details, you can get my WhatsApp details. You can be able to talk to me on Messenger. You can talk to me on Telegram, Signal, Zangi, and then I've also going to have a main number people can call me on, which is going to go through a thing called Sonatel, which will go through to my mobile phone. And all these things are about to understand who you are, understand your past, and then to hopefully better the past issues you have in the present incarnation of who you are and to the present, and then hopefully develop a future with another program that could help. So until then, I shall speak to you soon.